Thank you very much for joining me for this session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind. First podcast of the new year, 2026. So if you find it useful, hit the subscribe button. Not that I plan to make any money off of this, I don't. But some of the thoughts are worth in enhancing the number of people who join with me. So, first podcast of the new year. I guess entering it gives me a bit of a victory. I've now been off social media, or at least highly controlled social media, for an entire quarter. I decided last Rosh Hashanah that Facebook in particular was getting out of hand. Twitter was a time sink. Like everyone else on it, I could make comments to people who are famous for what they do. Not that anyone ever responds to me. Facebook absorbed a lot more of my time. What was interesting about Facebook is that I was helpful to people, but in a very limited way. I participated in Visit Every State as an expert in my own region. People appreciated the heads up that I sometimes gave them. In exchange for that, I got endless advertising, really no particular access to the people that I cared about, a fair amount of conflict that I didn't want to have. So I signed off. I still post some of my blog notices and some of the articles that I write, but I don't get any feedback. I don't seek any feedback. My email gets cluttered with messages related to Facebook. Somebody who I do know and who I do think highly of made some kind of comment, but they really aren't interested in having me see the comment and interact. They're interested in my signing in and getting more advertising. I've been deleting those emails even when they come from my own children. I have other ways of keeping in contact with them. Where I've made a small but very limited exception has been Reddit. There are parts of Reddit that are very useful. I am a regular contributor to Reddit Judaism and Reddit Jewish cooking. Both things that I know about, both things where I can be helpful to other posters. I try to go back on it only twice a week, but I've been going back on it a little bit more than that. I'm very careful not to engage in a fray. My comments on cooking and my comments on the nature of Judaism for people first beginning to explore it guide them in a meaningful way. Feedback to me has been pretty minimal. Occasionally, I seek out other people's expertise. My violin bow deteriorated. There are expert violinists on Reddit who guided me through. Apparently, my bow or the case in which it rests had an infestation of mites that feed on one of the proteins that are found in the bow. Between the guidance from the Reddit experts and guidance from people who've written articles about it that they've posted on the web, I should be able to remedy this. Not that long ago, while I was still more active, I was having problems with potholes. I noticed that potholes were more in the right lane than in the left lane, so I sought out some civil engineers. I found them. They answered my question. Apparently, roads are designed in a way that allows water to tilt toward the curb. The potholes are formed when the water seeps underneath the road surface, freezes and thaws, disrupting the surface, and that will happen more on the outer lane than the inner lane. It's been very helpful. So sometimes I am the expert, sometimes somebody else is the expert. But it's a useful platform and one that I've not found toxic at all. Will I ever go back to Facebook? I don't foresee that. Admittedly, there are a few things that I miss, not many, but I've lost some contact with people who I would have liked to maintain contact. I've always controlled it enough that it's never been toxic, but it distracts me. Having been off of it, one of the amazing things that I discovered is how much discretionary time I had to do other things. Sometimes I use that time well to write, to express myself. Other times I use that time frivolously to play solitaire. But I have been very, very consistent about deleting the emails that so and so said something or other on Facebook. I don't even open those, with the exception of if there's a suggestion that somebody passed away, I might open that to see if my impression is accurate, since I do tend to give a donation in memory of people that I know. That has not happened this quarter. In general, the 3 months without the social media have been better than previous times with the social media. I understand how out of hand Facebook can get. Twitter is more controllable since they don't send you incessant messages trying to get you back on. I've signed on to TikTok. I now have a TikTok place that I've entered twice. Nothing whatever interested me. I have no intent of forming my own, I guess they would call it a channel or become an influencer, at least not right now. So what I did last Rosh Hashanah to sign off looks like overall it was a favorable thing to do. Thanks so much for sharing this session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind.